It was the kind of day people would talk about for years. The wedding of Kim Jong-kook and Song Ji-hyo didn't just trend on Korean social media, it dominated it. The moment their agencies confirmed the news, in both Korean and English read like the opening line of a romantic drama. From Running Man to real life, Kim Jong-kook and Song Ji-hyo are getting married. To many, it felt like the ending of a love story that had quietly unfolded for over a decade. To others, it was only the beginning. On the crisp afternoon of the ceremony, Seoul stood still. The venue, a luxurious, glass-walled hotel ballroom in the heart of Gangnam, had been closed off to the public. It didn't stop hundreds of fans from crowding the sidewalks, holding up handmade signs, bouquets, and phones ready to capture any glimpse of the bride and groom. Inside, the atmosphere was electric. Every corner of the room was filled with soft light and white roses. The floral arrangements had been personally chosen by Ji-hyo, known for her understated elegance. The aisle was lined with candles in tall glass cylinders, flickering like stars on the ground. The guest list was a who's who of Korean entertainment royalty. Yoo Jae-suk, dressed in a sharp black tuxedo, had the honor of officiating. Haha, as always, couldn't keep his emotions in check, tearing up before the vows even began. Kwang-soo, who had flown in from overseas filming, was seen holding a tissue to his eyes as Ji-hyo made her entrance. And then came the moment that silenced the room. The music shifted to a soft orchestral version of The One, a song once used in an emotional Running Man episode years ago. Everyone stood as the doors opened. Song Ji-hyo appeared, radiant in a custom off-shoulder gown made of layers of ivory silk. Her hair was styled simply, her makeup soft. But the way her eyes locked with Jong-kook's across the room made the entire audience collectively gasp. Kim Jong-kook, dressed in a perfectly tailored classic black suit, stood at the altar, visibly moved. For a man who had built his entire public persona around control, strength, and discipline, his tears in that moment were the most human thing he had ever shown. As Ji-hyo walked slowly toward him, her eyes never leaving his, Kook took a deep breath. When she reached him, he whispered, "You're real," and she smiled. Their vows were private, written by themselves. "I've spent my life building muscles," Jong-kook said softly, "but nothing has ever made me feel stronger than holding your hand." Ji-hyo's voice trembled. "I've run all my life. I've run for shows, for roles, for dreams. But today, I run to you." The room erupted in applause, some guests standing and clapping through their own tears. Cameras clicked, but the couple seemed lost in their own world. The reception was filled with laughter. Jae-suk delivered a hilarious toast, reminiscing about all the years of teasing them on Running Man. "Joked for 10 years, he said. But it turns out the joke was on us, they were serious all along." Photos from the wedding went viral. The image of Jong-kook lifting Ji-hyo in his arms as they left the hall was shared over 1 million times in 24 hours. For fans who had followed their journey from playful on-screen partners to real-life lovers, it felt like a fairy tale. But fairy tales, as everyone knows, are short. Just 1 week later, the couple broke the internet again, and this time, it wasn't just with romance. At 9:02 a.m., Kim Jong-kook posted a photo to his Instagram account. It wasn't flashy. No filters. Just a simple image, his hand covering Ji-hyo's, both resting gently on her lower stomach. The lighting was soft, the background neutral, and the caption? Only 4 words, "Our miracle is coming." For a moment, fans thought it was a commercial campaign. Maybe a teaser for a reality show. Maybe even a prank. But within minutes, Song Ji-hyo posted the same image with a small white heart emoji. And then came the agency confirmation: Song Ji-hyo was pregnant. The news exploded across South Korean media. The phrase Kim Jong-kook and Song Ji-hyo pregnancy topped Naver's trending list. International outlets from CNN to BuzzFeed picked up the story. Twitter went into meltdown. Some fans screamed in excitement. Others cried. Entire online communities threw digital baby showers. Hashtags like Running Baby, Sparta Dad, Ace Mom, Family trended worldwide. The pregnancy wasn't just news. It was a cultural moment. The speed of the revelation raised questions. Was Ji-hyo already pregnant at the wedding? Had the marriage been planned because of the baby? Was this a shotgun wedding? Or was it simply fate? The public didn't know. The couple didn't answer. So speculation filled the silence. At a press event 3 days later, Ji-hyo stood beside Jong-kook in a pale cream dress. Loose enough to hide but not deny her new silhouette. Her smile was gentle. Eyes were watery. "This wasn't something we planned for the public," she said. "Gift. A surprise. And we're grateful. We hope you will support us in this new chapter." Jong-kook, usually reserved, held her hand the entire time. "I've dreamed of many things," he said quietly. "But nothing compares to this. We'll protect them with everything I have." The public was moved. So were the media. Running Man cast, often known for teasing and trolling, posted heartfelt congratulations. "Haha," joked. "Uncle Haha is ready for babysitting." Al Jae-suk wrote, "Family is everything." But not everyone was celebrating. Whispers began to leak from close sources, family members, industry insiders, even anonymous stylists. According to these sources, the families of both Jong-kook and Ji-hyo were not fully aligned about the pregnancy. The joy was real, yes, but so was the shock. Jong-kook's family, especially his mother, had long hoped he would marry. They even cried on national television about her son's single life. The pregnancy's timing, so soon after the wedding, was difficult for some relatives to accept. The Lees were traditional, conservative, and fiercely protective of the family image. Ji-hyo's family, on the other hand, worried about her career. She had worked tirelessly for years, often battling against industry sexism and typecasting. Would becoming a mother force her to step back? Would she lose roles? Would she be replaced? In the weeks that followed, the public narrative remained cheerful, but behind closed doors, the couple was facing mounting pressure from both sides. Behind the carefully curated smiles and rehearsed words, a storm was brewing. Kim Jong-kook and Song Ji-hyo had always known their marriage would attract attention. They had accepted that every move, every look, every word would be dissected by the public. What they hadn't fully anticipated was how quickly the private happiness would become a battlefield for everyone else's expectations. The first cracks came from within the families. Jong-kook's side, his mother, long adored by viewers for her warmth and honesty, had mixed feelings. She loved Ji-hyo, no doubt. Welcomed her as a daughter-in-law with tears of joy. But whispers soon leaked from relatives who questioned the timing of the pregnancy. In the conservative fabric of Korean society, the of a baby arriving so soon after marriage carried a weight that could not be dismissed. They are celebrities. An anonymous relative reportedly told a tabloid, "They do reflects on all of us. This was too fast." On Ji-hyo's side, the concerns were entirely different. Her family had always admired her independence, determination to survive in an industry that often chewed women up and spit them out. They worried, quietly but persistently. This pregnancy, joyful though it was, might derail her career. Would producers hesitate to cast her in demanding roles? Would the Running Man team feel pressured to let her go? Would the public, so fickle in its loyalty to the next star? For Ji-hyo, these questions weren't abstract. They haunted her. Lying awake at night, she thought of scripts she might never read, roles she might never play. She thought of the fans who loved her as the ace, fearless, reachable, strong. Would they still love her if she stumbled, vulnerable, tired from sleepless nights and swollen feet? Jong-kook, too, felt the strain. His entire public persona had been built on discipline, strength, control. But fatherhood was something no workout routine could prepare him for. He confided in a close friend that he felt like he was carrying three worlds: my family's expectations, her family's fears, and the weight of the entire nation's gaze. The media made everything worse. Tabloids feasted on rumors of family conflict. Some claimed there had been shouting matches between the in-laws over financial decisions. Others alleged that disagreements had arisen over which hospital Ji-hyo would give birth in, or even what surname the child would carry. None of it was confirmed. But confirmation wasn't necessary. In Korea's fast-moving news cycle, rumor itself was enough to spark debate. Talk shows invited cultural critics to discuss the modern meaning of family using Jong-kook and Ji-hyo as case studies. Online forums buzzed with arguments. Netizens accused Ji-hyo of trapping Jong-kook with pregnancy. Others attacked Jong-kook for forcing Ji-hyo into domesticity. Every possible angle was dissected, analyzed, weaponized, and through it all, the couple smiled for the cameras. But in rare, unguarded moments, question showed. Paparazzi photos captured Ji-hyo leaving a hospital, her face pale, Jong-kook hovering protectively but grim-faced. On another occasion, cameras spotted Jong-kook alone in a cafe, staring at his phone for nearly an hour before leaving without finishing his coffee. Friends noticed the strain too. On the Running Man set, members rallied around Ji-hyo, offering jokes and hugs. Admitted privately that she seemed distracted. After forced, Jong-kook, meanwhile, threw himself into workouts harder than ever, as if physical exertion could silence the chaos in his mind. Storm was not just emotional. It was practical. Where would they live? How would they balance schedules? Would they hire help? Or try to raise the child themselves? Every choice felt monumental. Every compromise a potential headline. Came the cruelest blow. A false rumor spread online that Ji-hyo might be considering leaving Running Man. The show's producers quickly denied it. Damage was done. Fans panicked. Petitions circulated, begging her to stay. For Ji-hyo, the idea of walking away from the show that had shaped her career was heartbreaking, but the idea of staying while battling pregnancy fatigue seemed equally impossible. The storm had begun, and it showed no signs of slowing. The turning point came during a televised special. Producers of a primetime talk show invited the couple for what was supposed to be a light-hearted interview. Instead, came the stage for their most vulnerable moment yet. Cameras rolled, Ji-hyo's voice wavered. Never thought happiness would come with so much pressure, she admitted. We wanted to celebrate our love, and now our child. But it feels like we've become everyone's property. Fell silent. Jong-kook squeezed her hand, his jaw tightening. Marriage isn't a fairy tale, he said. His voice low but steady. It's real. Messy. It's hard. But when I look at her, I think of our child. I know it's worth every fight. Every sleepless night, every doubt. The studio erupted in applause. The critics on social media, who had been merciless for weeks, softened. For once, the public saw not celebrities, not icons, but two human beings, scared, tired, but united. The effect was immediate. Support flooded in. Fans trended hashtags like Stand with Jong-kook, Ji-hyo and Love Wins. Industry colleagues voiced support, promising to stand by them. Even some relatives who had been critical softened their stance, moved by the couple's honesty. From then on, the narrative shifted. The story was no longer about scandal or speculation. It was about resilience. About choosing love, even under siege. In the months that followed, the couple leaned on each other more than ever. Ji-hyo continued her work on Running Man, though on lighter schedules. Jong-kook cut back on international appearances to stay close. Together, they created a cocoon of strength around themselves, refusing to let the noise drown out their joy. The baby finally arrived, a healthy boy. According to sources, the nation erupted in celebration once again. Paparazzi photos showed Jong-kook, exhausted but glowing, carrying his son out of the hospital. Ji-hyo smiling weakly beside him. It wasn't just a family moment. It was a cultural one. For years, their relationship had been public property. But in that moment, holding their newborn child, they reclaimed it. It was theirs. And as Jong-kook said in one final press conference, holding Ji-hyo's hand tightly, we've been called a lot of things, a rumor, a fantasy, a joke. But now, just a family. And that's all that matters. The bombshell had shaken the nation. The storm had nearly broken them. But in the end, what remained was love, raw, imperfect, defiant. A love that no rumor could destroy.